The year is 1307. In a stone hall in Paris, the torches burn low. The flames do not give much warmth. They only show the shapes of men and shadows on the wall. At a long table sit clerics and royal officials. Their robes are dark. Their faces look pale in the flickering light. Beside them, scribes bend over parchment. Their quills scratch and pause, scratch and pause. In front of them stands a man in chains. His white mantle hangs crooked from his shoulders. The red cross on his chest looks dull in the smoke. His hair is cut short. His beard grows in rough and uneven. His wrists are bound with iron. When he shifts his weight, the chains clink against the floor. They ask him about the night. They do not care how he fought. They do not care how many roads he guarded, how many pilgrims he led through dry country, how many times he charged into a line of lances. They want to know what happened when the doors shut and the candles burned low. They ask what the brothers did to each other when no one else could see. "Did you spit on the cross?" one inquisitor says. The man does not answer. "Did you deny Christ?" another asks. The man swallows. His lips are cracked. His tongue feels heavy. "Did you see brothers punished at night?" a third voice asks. "Did you watch them kneel in the chapter house? Did you see what they did to those who broke the rule?" That question hits something different. He has seen battlefields. He has seen broken men carried off with torn mail and split shields. He has seen arrows pulled from flesh. Those memories sit in one part of his mind. The chapter house sits in another. A colder place, a smaller place. He feels it now like a stone in his chest. "Yes," he says. The scribes lean closer. Their quills wait over the page. He tells them that at night, after the work of the day, the brothers gathered. He tells them they sat in a long stone room with candles along the walls. He tells them that when a man broke the rule, he knelt in the middle while all the others watched. He tells them that punishments touched his back, his pride, and his place in the order. He does not mention the smell of tallow and sweat, the way the floor felt cold under bare knees, the weight of 50 pairs of eyes. The men at the table do not ask for those parts. They do not need them. They can twist what little he says into more than enough. Most people know the Knights Templar from the outside. They picture white cloaks and red crosses. They picture lances lowered and riders charging through dust. They see stone fortresses on rocky hills. They hear words like holy warriors and warrior monks. They do not see what held that world together when the sun went down. Inside the order, discipline was not a simple list of rules. It was a net that wrapped around every hour. It dictated when you rose, how you sat, what you owned, what you spoke, and how you slept. A brother who stepped outside that net threatened not only himself, but the whole machine. The Templars believed they had to correct him, and they believed the safest time to do that was behind closed doors. To understand those punishments, you must walk into a house of the temple as the light fades. Imagine a commandery in the west. The day has been long. Men have checked barns, tallied grain, and repaired harness. Others trained with spear and shield in the yard until their shirts clung to their backs. The sun sinks behind low hills. The sky turns the color of cold iron. The bell in the small chapel sounds a slow, measured note. Brothers file inside. They wear plain habits under their white cloaks. They move in twos and threes. Their footsteps on stone merge into one steady sound. No one dawdles. No one stands aside to gossip. The rule has a place for everything, and there is no place for that here. Tonight, a new man walks among them. His name is Guillaume. He comes from a small estate that once had more horses than it has now. He joined the temple to escape debts and to seek a clearer path. He has learned to fight on horseback. He has learned to sleep in armor. He has not yet learned the weight of the rule when the candles burn low. After prayers in the chapel, the brothers go to the dormitory. It is one long hall with rows of beds. Each bed has a straw mattress, a blanket, and a small chest close by. There are no curtains between them. There is no private corner. A man's life is lived in plain sight. The officer walks down the line. He checks that no one has extra clothes beyond what is allowed. He checks that no coins hide in any chest. He checks that no one keeps small luxuries, no soft cushion brought from home, no bright trinket. The rule forbids personal property. Every extra thing is a seed for pride. Guillaume kneels by his bed and prays with the others. When the officer gives the sign, the candles are put out. Darkness falls at once. The only light is a faint wash from a small lamp in the corridor outside. Silence is now the law. The rule says the brothers must not speak here. No jokes, no stories, no whispers. The words stop with the daylight. Night belongs to sleep and to the mind's quiet. But habits from his old life cling to Guillaume. As he lies on his side, he thinks of the day. He remembers a joke one of the sergeants made while they stacked grain sacks. Without thinking, he breathes it out, a short phrase in the dark. A man in the next bed snorts, another chuckles. The sound dies fast. They all lie still, listening. In the distance, a dog barks. On the other side of the wall, wind brushes the roof. No one comes. Guillaume closes his eyes and tells himself that no one heard. He learns the truth the next night. The day runs its course. Prayers, work, simple food, an errand to a nearby village, a short drill in the yard. Evening comes. Instead of going straight to the dormitory, the bell calls them to chapter. The chapter house is a long, narrow room with a stone floor and a wooden roof. Benches line the walls. A cross hangs on one end, plain and unpainted. Candles burn in iron holders. Their smoke curls toward the beams overhead. The brothers sit on the benches facing each other. The master sits at the head with a clerk at his side. The door is shut. No one else gets in. The hall feels tighter than its walls. The master begins with a short prayer. Then he calls for faults. One by one, men stand. I failed to fast on the appointed day. I spoke sharply at table. I fell asleep in the choir. Each confession comes out in simple words. Each man bows his head. The clerk writes short notes. The master listens in silence. When the man sits, others watch him. Some have seen the fault, some have not. But all share it now. When the line of small sins seems to end, another brother rises. He raises his hand in the formal way and asks leave to speak. I bear witness, he says. That brother Guillaume spoke in the dormitory and made light of another brother. Guillaume feels his throat go dry. The master looks at him. Is this true? Guillaume stands. The eyes of 50 men rest on him. He thinks of excuses. He thinks of saying that it was a slip, that he meant no harm. The rule gives him no space for that. It is true, he says. The master nods once. You broke the silence. You mocked a brother. For 3 days you will eat on the ground at the door, and you will not sit among the brothers at table. In the dormitory, you will lie on your face for a time as a sign of grief. The words drop like lead. There is no anger in the master's voice. This is not about feelings. It is about order. The clerk writes the sentence. No one argues. Discipline is not a discussion. The next day, Guillaume stands at the entrance to the refectory. He watches the others file in and take their places at the long tables. Bowls of stew and baskets of bread sit between them. A reader stands at a lectern and begins to recite a text. No one speaks. The clink of spoons and the sound of the reader's voice fill the room. Guillaume waits. When the meal ends, a servant places a piece of bread and a bowl with the last of the stew on the stone floor by the door. Guillaume kneels and eats there. At his side, a dog licks a drop of broth. Men step around him as they leave. Some keep their eyes on the floor. Others glance down with a mix of pity and relief that it is not them. At night, when the others roll into their beds, he kneels on the cold floor and lies flat for a set time while the officer watches. His knees ache. Dust sticks to his hands. He has known cuts and bruises from training. This feels different. This goes under the skin. These are the small punishments. They touch your pride more than your flesh. They tell you that the order sees you and will not ignore what you do. Not every brother stops at small faults. The Templars swore to give up 3 things: wealth, will, and flesh. They gave up the right to own property. They gave up the right to choose their own path once they took the habit. They gave up the right to seek comfort in the arms of a woman. To break any of these vows was to crack the foundation of the order. The rule allowed for blows when sins grew heavier. Picture another night in another house. The brothers sit in chapter again. The air is thick. It has rained all day. The smell of wet wool hangs over the room. The candle flames gutter when a draft slips under the door. In the center kneels a man whose beard has streaks of gray. He has ridden in battle. Men once follow his banner. He has kept watch over walls. He now faces the watch of his own brothers. The master reads out the charge. The man hoarded coins taken from a raid. He hid them in a leather pouch in the stable. When a servant found them and told, the truth came out. "You have broken your vow of poverty," the master says. The man bows his head. Two brothers step forward. They take his mantle and lay it aside. They bare his back. A third brother holds a rod. A fourth opens the rule and reads the passages that speak against greed and theft. With each line, the rod rises and falls. The sound is steady. It is not wild. It is not done in rage. It is done in count and measure, like strokes of a bell. The man's jaw tightens. He grips his hands together on the stone. He feels each blow as a line of fire. He knows it could have been worse. He also knows he will not forget it. When the reading ends, so do the blows. No one claps him on the shoulder. No one says, "Well done." That is not how this works. He rises, puts on his shirt, and returns to his bench. The marks on his back will heal in time. The marks on his name will not fade so fast. In some houses, corporal punishment went beyond this. A brother who sinned again and again might be given more strokes. A man who committed sexual sin could be beaten and cast out, or sent to serve in humble tasks. There were stories of brothers locked in cells on bread and water, of men who wasted away under the weight of their guilt and the harshness of their keepers. The order did not see this as cruelty for its own sake. They saw it as medicine. Hard medicine, but medicine. They believed that the soul is more important than the body, and that pain on the body may save the soul from worse. Other penalties touched status rather than skin. No sign meant more to a Templar knight than the white mantle with the red cross. To the world, it said this man is a full brother. It set him apart from lay brothers, from sergeants, from hired men. It allowed him to ride in the front line, to vote in chapter on the greatest matters, to serve as an officer. The order had the power to take it away. Imagine a chapter like the others, but with a heavier air. A senior knight stands in the center. His offense is not small. Perhaps he used the order's property for his family. Perhaps he refused a direct command. Perhaps he stirred division against the master. He kneels. His cloak still rests on his shoulders. The master steps forward. In front of all, he takes the mantle at the neck and pulls it off. The white cloth slides down the man's back and falls to the floor. The red cross lies twisted. A brother picks it up and carries it away. From that moment, the man is no longer a knight of the temple in full sense. He may wear a darker habit. He may serve in the kitchen, in the stable, in the lowest tasks. He may stand at the back of the chapel. If he is ever restored, it will be with a stain. If he is not restored, he will live out his days as a reminder of what happens when a man falls from a high place. This kind of punishment strikes deeper than a lash. For a Templar, honor is not a word. It is where he lives. To lose the mantle is to lose the house you built on your own back. The order used many lesser steps before taking such extreme ones. A man could be made to eat last for a time. He could be barred from speaking in chapter. He could be sent to another house with a letter that explained his fault. The rule gave a range of tools. The master chose which to use. All of this rested on one idea: obedience. When a man joined the temple, he did not simply say, "I believe," and receive a cross. He surrendered his will. He agreed that from that day on, another man's voice would direct his life. The moment of joining carried its own dark weight. The trial records that survive speak of strange acts at the moment of reception. Some men under torture swore that they were told to spit on a cross, to trample it, or to deny Christ with their mouths. They spoke of these as tests in closed rooms, at night, with only brothers as witnesses. You must treat such claims with care. Many of these men answered after pain and fear broke them. Yet it is possible that some version of these practices existed in a milder form. The Templars knew that a knight might be captured. He might be forced to choose between death and words. Some orders used harsh drills to prepare their members for such pressure. They taught them that actions under compulsion did not touch the heart if the heart stayed firm. It is not hard to see how a training meant to steal the soul could, in other hands, look like an act of betrayal. Imagine the reception of a new brother as night settles on a house near the sea. The brothers gather in a chapel. It is plain and small. The walls are whitewashed. The floor is worn stone. At the far end stands an altar. On it rests a simple cross, a gospel book, and a candle. The candidate waits outside. He has given up his lands. He has settled his debts. He has put off marriage. He stands now in plain clothes, stripped of worldly symbols. A senior brother comes to him and asks for the last time, "Do you truly wish to be a servant of the temple?" The man says yes. His voice shakes. They lead him inside. The brothers stand while he walks between their ranks. He kneels before the altar. The master asks him a series of questions. Do you owe anyone service? Are you bound to another order? Are you under the obedience of any other lord? He answers no to each. If he lies, he commits a grave sin against the house he seeks to enter. Then may come the test. A brother may take a wooden cross from the altar, hold it before him, and say words that cut him to the center. You must obey your superiors in all things lawful, even if they command what seems strange to you. If you cannot bear that, you cannot live this life. Do you understand? He says yes. Then show that you trust us more than your own judgment. At this point, different houses may have done different things. Some accounts claim that a cross was placed on the ground, and the candidate told to step on it as a test of obedience. Others speak of strong words, spoken without such an act. In either case, the point was clear. We demand not only your courage, but your will. The candidate hesitates. He feels as if fire burns behind his eyes. Everything he has been taught tells him to honor the cross. Yet here stand men who tell him that in this moment, the act means something else, that his soul stands in the choice to obey them. If he obeys, they may then lift him up, embrace him, give him the mantle, and tell him that God looks at the heart, not at a piece of wood. If he refuses, they may send him away as unfit for the hardness ahead. In this closed world, such a test made a rough sense. Outside, it becomes a weapon. Night after night, the order held these rituals and punishments behind thick walls. Most brothers never questioned that this was the best way to keep the house straight under God. But fear was always in the room. A brother could fear lash, loss of mantle, or expulsion. He could fear being judged more harshly because he hid a fault. He could fear the eyes of men he ate with, slept beside, and rode with. He could fear being nothing more than a line in a clerk's book. Brother, fault, punishment. You can see this fear in a man like Guillaume as years pass. He grows older. His hair thins. He bears scars from border raids and skirmishes. New brothers look up to him. He in turn watches his own steps. He has learned that nothing stays hidden for long in a house of men who live under the same roof. One winter he makes a mistake he does not wish to confess. Perhaps he takes money meant for alms and uses it to pay an old family debt. Perhaps he slips out of the house in a town and spends a night where he should not. He tells himself it was only once. He tells himself God knows he is tired. Chapter comes. He sits on the bench and keeps his mouth closed. His heart beats faster when the master calls for faults. Another brother looks at him once, then looks away. Days pass. Then, one night, a man stands and bears witness to what Guillaume did. The weight he has tried to carry in secret drops in the middle of the room. The master turns to him and demands the truth. The shame now cuts twice. He sinned, and he lied by silence. For that, the punishment will climb. He will not only feel the rod or the floor, he will feel the cold distance of men who once trusted him fully. This is how the order kept itself in line. Outside, men saw lines on backs, empty seats at table, and mantles folded away. For almost 2 centuries, this system held. Then kings turned their gaze inward.
King Philip IV of France owed the Templars money. He saw their houses in his cities. He saw their wealth and their network. He did not see their inner life, but he did not need to. He could fill the silence with his own story. He ordered the arrest of Templars across his lands on one autumn morning. In Paris, men who had once sat on benches in chapter now sat on bare stone in cells. The men who had once assigned punishments now waited for them. The same tools they had used on each other, fear, shame, night, and secrecy, were now in other hands. Under torture, some brothers told the questioners what they wanted to hear. They spoke of spitting near the cross during reception. They spoke of strange kisses given as signs of obedience. They spoke of harsh punishments in closed rooms. They spoke of chapels lit by few candles where men knelt and heard sentences spoken. The men who questioned them did not know the texture of a chapter night. They did not know the smell or the silence. They only heard shapes they could twist. A flogging for greed became proof of cult-like cruelty. A test of obedience became an act of blasphemy. A brother stripped of his mantle for disobedience became an example of some deeper, hidden crime. Trial records fill with lines that mix truth and distortion. Words like secret, night, and shame repeat. They gain a new color. Jacques de Molay, the last Grand Master, once presided over such chapters. He once sat with brothers while they judged faults and assigned penances. In his mind, he may have believed these acts kept the order pure. Now he stands not in a chapter house, but on an island in the Seine, tied to a stake. The sky darkens. A crowd presses close. Men hold torches. The smell of smoke thickens as wood catches. Heat rises. The white mantle, if he still wore it, is gone. No cross marks his chest. The flames do that work now. It is a final punishment, not from brothers who claim to save his soul, but from a king who wishes to seize his lands. Within the order, knight discipline began with simple acts: kneeling on cold stone, eating on the floor, losing a seat. It grew into lashes, loss of rank, and sometimes cells that shut out the sun. All of it happened away from the public eye. The Templars believed that they were shaping men into tools for God's work. They believed that their harshness had a purpose. They did not see how their silence, their sealed doors, and their dark rituals would look when enemies forced those doors open. In those halls, a brother who broke the rule feared what his own would do to him. In the end, the order itself learned what it meant to be judged in the night by those who stood outside its walls.